What is going on, everyone? This is Tal and welcome back to the channel. Now, you might not be able to notice this, but I am very excited for today's video. It's going to be another vlog, a little different than what you're used to, not so much about cybersecurity or programming or anything like that, although I am actually doing some stuff right now, studying e-learn security, and I remoted into my Kali machine, which is over there. Right there. Sorry, the footage is horrible because I'm just shooting this on my iPhone. But if you guys want a video on how to set up a remote Kali machine so that way you can have just a remote machine that's not your actual machine that you can remote into to do labs and stuff like that and hack, then make sure to drop a comment below and I'll make a video about that. But that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about me getting, for the first time, my very own mirrorless camera. Now, I've used my mom's DSLR in the past, which you've probably, most of my videos, such as my how to get into cybersecurity one, were filmed using that. And it's not the best camera, it was all right. And I was able to use it for a while, but I finally was able to get the Sony A7III. I got the 17 to 28 millimeter and the 28 to 75 millimeter Tamron lenses. I've heard those are really good for beginners as they're pretty cheap. They're f2.8, which is great. But I am so excited about this camera. It looks amazing. So yeah, it's still charging up right now, but in future, almost all of my videos, probably all of them actually, are going to be filmed on that camera. Besides, a lot of this one is still going to be filmed on my phone because I'm going to kind of give you somewhat of a first impressions review of the camera once the battery charges up, and I'm able to take it out and shoot some content. Right now though, I'm going to get back to doing some work and studying, and then hopefully it'll be charged up in time for my lunch break, and then I'll be able to go make some cool content. Okay guys, so there wasn't much in the pool, so I think I'm gonna go down to the pond for just a little bit and see if I can get a few somewhat late night shots. I wonder how everything's performing out here because it's getting pretty dark, so I don't know. Hopefully it does good and it's, you know, everything handles it well without getting too much noise because it is still kind of dusk. It seems weird like walking around holding a camera like this. It's just not something that I'm used to. I'm sure I'll get used to it eventually, but I'm sure also that my dad and brother are watching me like, oh, there he goes, filming himself again. He got his new camera, of course, but nah, they're really cool with that. My brother's vlogged before, he's vlogged more than me actually. Check his channel out, first link in the description. He's vlogging his way through college. He's kind of quit the past couple of weeks, but he's gonna start back pretty soon with him passing the Network Plus. He's not taking it yet, but that's next in line. So yeah, here is the pond. I think that I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture of the pond with this wide angle lens, which I'm super excited. I love the wide angle lens. And then hopefully the stars will come out later tonight and I can throw an astrophotography picture up right now. So all right, let's take this picture. Here we are in the video mode, running down the hill. So peaceful. Let's get some B-roll of this pond. Oh yeah, cue the B-roll. Okay guys, so I'm done snapping a few pictures down. It's getting dark. I'll have to wait and shoot some more pictures tomorrow, but those won't be included in this video. However, follow me on Instagram at TalKelly3 to see some more pictures from this camera. That's pretty much where all my pictures are going to be coming from in the future. I just like posting photography pictures on Instagram. I don't know why. because my channel's cybersecurity related, but I'm trying to move into photography and videography, so you never know. It might be pretty cool. Oh, Taylor, what you doing?
Came with the idea we should have a shot-for-shot battle, iPhone 12 Pro versus that.
Yes.
YouTube video.
We totally should do that. So if you guys think that's a good idea, comment down below and I'll make sure to do that in the near future.
And we'll do it anyways.
Yeah, we'll do it anyways, but like, if you comment, that'll mean that we really know that you want it, and we'll make sure to do it even sooner. What's going on, everyone? This is Tal, and actually I've already introed this video, but in today's video I'm going to be talking about my experience with the Sony A7III. Should you buy this camera, and are these lenses any good? I hope you've enjoyed the footage that's already here. Like I said in the last video, I'm not the best at vlogging. I'm working on that, and I hope to get better very soon. As they say, practice makes perfect, or if not perfect, at least practice makes better. I'm going to go ahead and move these boxes out of the way, but I will go ahead and show you. I got the Tamron 17-28mm f2.8 lens, which I'm using on my Sony A7III right now to film me at 17mm. And then I have the Tamron 28-75 f2.8 lens, which is right here. Now, a lot of people said, oh, this feels really cheap, you know, it's too light and cheap feeling. I've seen some people say that. But I watched Jason Vong's video, and he broke down a whole bunch of lenses and all the different ranges and what he thinks you should get and stuff. Highly recommend him. Link in the description to his channel. And he said that this would be a good lens for beginners, and honestly, it's really affordable compared to like the G Master and even some of the Sigmas. It's even cheaper than that. I got it for about $750 off B&H Photo. To me, it feels premium, and this is comparing it to a Canon kit lens that I had on the Canon T3i, which was my mom's camera before, and that's what I used before, and it's obviously was a lot lower quality, but this has the extending barrel when you zoom. The 17-28 does not. It has internal zoom, so it won't off balance your gimbal any, but this is pretty hefty. At least to me, and it feels really nice and good quality. I will keep this box here to help me out with the specs as I run down a couple of the specs of the Sony A7 III before I get into my reasoning as to why I bought it and why I think you should buy it as well. So, the Sony A7 III is a 35mm full frame 24.2 megapixel sensor camera, so I'm assuming 35mm means that's like the size of the sensor or something. ISO can go from 100 all the way up to 51,200, although I have a feeling that it's going to get a lot of grain in your footage if you try to go up to 51,200. It can shoot 10 frames per second in the burst photo mode, has 693 phase detection autofocus points. It has eye autofocus, silent shooting, 5-axis steady shot, which is basically IBIS, in-body image stabilization, dual card slots, both support SD cards. It has touch focus, HLG, which is hybrid log gamma, super speed USB with USB 3.1 and a USB-C port, as well as the micro USB, which is what's in the box, and it comes with the NP-FZ100 battery, which if you buy it separately is about $70. So I got some other batteries, which are Wasabi power batteries, and you can see those right here. They don't last quite as long as the Sony, but they were $50 for 2 batteries and a charger, whereas the Sony was $75 for 1 battery, and that didn't even include the charger. You'd still have to charge it to the camera or buy a $100 charger separately, and that was expensive. So I just used the Wasabi batteries, and they work just fine. They don't cause any issues with the camera whatsoever, and everything is great. So now into whether I think that you should buy this camera in 2021 and why I bought this camera. And we'll go in reverse order of that and talk about why I bought this camera first. So obviously I was coming from the Canon T3i, which is a very, very old camera and not really good for video at all. It didn't have video autofocus whatsoever, which was pretty tough, to be honest. And the only lens I had for it was a 28 to 135 millimeter lens, and then a 50 millimeter macro lens, and this was an APS-C size sensor with a pretty substantial crop in video mode at 1080p. It couldn't shoot 4K, so that was super zoomed in, and I would have to have it like all the way back in the corner back there, whereas this is pretty much right at the edge of my table to where I could reach up and touch the camera if I wanted to. For example, like to zoom in or out or anything. I personally really like the picture quality of this camera, and this camera is pretty much better in every single regard, except for one thing, and that is it does not have a flip out screen. But that's fine. I had problems before staring at myself in the screen rather than looking into the lens, maintaining eye contact, which it's much easier to do now because I pretty much just have the massive expense of nothingness, also known as the lens, to look into. The reason I bought this camera over the A7R4 and the A7S III, the R4 is very good for photography. It has a 42 megapixel sensor, if I'm not mistaken, and the S3 has a 12 megapixel sensor. The reason I bought this camera over those two is because, one, this camera was much cheaper, clocking in at about $1,000 to $2,000 at minimum, cheaper than the A7S III, which is a phenomenal video camera, and if I had the budget I probably would have gotten that, and the R4, which is better for photo. But this one is pretty much the hybrid. It does video pretty good and it does photo pretty good. None of them are amazing, and that's talking in terms of you being able to get like really amazing video with A7S III and really amazing photos with the A7R4. But to me the A7 III is like super duper amazing anyways, so no issues there. But I got this because it's a whole lot cheaper and it's a pretty good hybrid camera. The A7 IV is rumored to come out this summer, so I may upgrade to it, but probably not, as the A7 III will fulfill my needs from now on for the next 2 years at least. I think this is a perfectly good camera to buy in 2021. The specs on this camera are going to last you for at least the next 2 to 3 years. I'll leave a link to it at B&H Photo in the description below. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be an affiliate link as I'm not signed up for their affiliate program. But you know, you can just go use that link to go check out the camera if you're interested in buying it as well. I'll also link these 2 lenses that I got in the description below. That's all for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Comment down below if you want me to do any more photography or videography style content. Also, if you like this camera, or if you want to buy this camera or these lenses, if you already own them and have any tips, make sure to leave those in the comments below as well. I'm Chow, and I'll see you in the next video.